Hi, I'm Sam, a holistic wellness practitioner at Grounded Visions, and I offer integral eye movement therapy, or IEMT, a powerful technique for releasing emotional imprints and creating lasting change in your life. In this interview today, you're going to hear firsthand how IEMT works and what benefits you can expect to receive from a session. So let's get started. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks, Sam. I appreciate being here.
So tell me a little bit about what brought you to try IEMT.
When I first saw that you were offering IEMT services, I was a little skeptical about what that would entail. However, I'm a person who likes to go into therapies and learn different ways to elevate and move along my wellness journey, my health mental journey. So I definitely wanted to try it out. I know I had some emotional weight that I wanted to work through. So I thought this was a perfect opportunity to work with you.
Amazing. So tell me, have you tried any other methods? You mentioned that you enjoy trying different therapies. So tell me a little bit about what you've tried
Mhm.
and how this compared to some of those.
Sure. So I've been in talk therapy probably for several years now at this point and thoroughly enjoy it. I love the journey that I've taken so far with my talk therapy. However, I think like anything, just like exercising, you kind of always want to try something new and try
Hmm.
something a little different to see if it taps into a different area of your emotions and your
Sure.
mind. And I thought this was a really different and unique approach, especially pinpointing specific traumas and emotional areas of my life. And obviously, it went really well. So I'm really
Yeah,
glad that I did it.
amazing. So tell me a little bit about what was your experience like during the IEMT sessions?
So I think the during the sessions itself, what was most important for me was getting into that meditative state. And Sam, you're so good at doing that. You're so good at getting that person comfortable and feeling warm and welcome in a vulnerable state. So for me, it was really important to make sure that I could get there. And then during the practice itself, I was surprised. I think the word is surprise is the idea that I was able to get there and go through the exercises and really tap into my emotions and then have like the emotional release that I was not expecting to have.
Hmm.
That was really cool.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about what you really liked about the process.
Mhm,
Like what stood out to you as really being different
mhm.
and moving the needle a little bit differently than your traditional talk therapies.
Sure. I think the how I was surprised with how immediate the shift felt. I remember at one point during one of the sessions, I looked at you and I said, "Is this supposed to happen this quick?"
Mm,
And I never would have thought in a million years that I would be walking out of here feeling lighter instantly, and then let alone just how it progressed over time.
yeah, that's really special.
Mhm.
So tell me, you already mentioned you felt that immediate change even during the session. Tell me a little bit about what changes you noticed immediately after the session once you left and you
Mhm.
were, going about your normal routines. What did you notice immediately?
Sure. When I left here, I think in a good way, I was with the emotional release, I was so drained. I went home and I took the longest nap of my life,
Yeah,
but I
that'll
think
happen
that was
sometimes.
that was what I needed. My
Mm,
body needed that, and then just like the rest and recuperation of that was it was actually pretty beautiful when I think about it. And then just feeling lighter and handling different circumstances that I came across just during that week. I was very hyper vigilant and hyper sensitive, to the exercise we went through, and I just recognized how the intensity of my emotions were settled down. And I
mhm,
think, of course, that was the most important aspect that I was hoping for, but never in my life thought it was going to be so tangible. I didn't
mhm.
think I'd be like, "Wow, I feel so much lighter,"
Yeah.
and it was.
Yeah, it sounds like that. And so what were some of the things you were able to do that you weren't able to do before? Like what are some of the things you noticed that you were like, wow, I actually am
Right.
doing this differently?
Right. So I think there's some emotional weight and anxiety that I would have with certain circumstances that I have to deal with in my everyday life, and not something on a frequency that happens every day, but every once in a while. And traditionally or historically, I would probably avoid those situations and circumstances so I didn't have to deal with the emotions that I know that were not healthy for me, or the ones that I just didn't want to take on in that moment. And with the exercise and the practice, I challenged myself to see how I would feel in those circumstances when they did happen. And I could not believe like how brave and confident and strong I handled those circumstances after the practice. And I just felt so detached
Mhm.
from the circumstance and my emotion from that in a good way, in a positive, healthy way to move forward with my life and not feel so emotionally burdened
Yeah.
by those
Yeah.
circumstances.
So it sounds like you were able to respond rather than react and have space from some of those emotions that
Absolutely.
used to overtake you.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. So tell me in terms of the long term, it's been, a couple of weeks since we've had our session together, our sessions together. So tell me in the long term, aside from that and those immediate things, is there anything else that you have noticed that has shifted in terms of your life or maybe even your mindset around
Mhm.
around what we worked on together?
Absolutely. So I think when I initially came in here, I had such a very specific I had very specific emotions and very specific situations and very specific traumas I wanted to come here and heal. What I did not anticipate was how it would the positive change in my mindset was going to affect all areas of in my life in general, whether it came to my career or my aspirations, as a career woman, and with my kids and with my friends, and just opening up all these new opportunities that I think just made me brave and confident, and just made me feel like, I can do these things and not have that emotional burden that I
Hmm.
feel like I used to have, that I was ruminating way too much about.
Sure.
And so overall, like, I think I was again surprised that it went beyond the very specific circumstances and allowed me to like bloom and open up in other ways.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
It really was.
So tell me, how would you just describe IEMT to someone unfamiliar with what this process is? I mean, you mentioned, oh, I saw this and I wanted to try a therapy. Some people might be a little more hesitant to just try it. So how would you describe your experience to someone else so that they might be more open to
Mhm.
trying this out?
Sure. When I first came in here, of course, I wasn't really sure what I like to anticipate what this would be. However, again, you have such a warm and inviting office first and foremost. And so the environment itself allowed me to feel comfortable. And then what I enjoyed most is how you made it fun. And it as much as my you were guiding me and coaching me to my subconscious to those areas in my life, it didn't feel so heavy to like I didn't feel like pressure to talk about these things. It was more so me navigating myself, but you do it in such a kind and wonderful way. So the experience itself is fun, it's powerful, it's impactful. I did not imagine what would happen over 60 minutes, and again, warm and inviting, gets really intense, but at a rate that I'm comfortable with, and then just like leaving with such amazing results. So
Yeah.
it was a great session.
Yeah, and tell me a little bit about the eye movement work. Like, so
Mhm.
in the eye movements, how did that feel to you when you were doing that? Was it,
Sure.
just give me a little bit more on that.
Yeah, the eye movements, it was comfortable, it was natural. You're really great at coaching on what the exercise was going to be before we began, and then just guiding through it. I mean, it's kind of fun and different for sure. I
Yeah,
never Something that you wouldn't have thought of. Whether you were using your hands or that you were using the wand, both were really for fascinating and interesting to do. And we did it several times.
right.
It's great.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so it didn't feel like draining. It kind of just felt, easy to do, is what you're
Yes,
saying. Okay,
it was easy to
manageable.
do.
Yeah.
It was very manageable.
Okay, and so tell me what you appreciated most about the process.
I think what I appreciated the most was that, going in, I was skeptical about it. And I appreciated that you were able to get me comfortable in a vulnerable state, first and foremost. And then, secondly, like walking out with immediate initial results. I could not believe in 60 minutes the work that we could have done.
Right.
Like, I would have never guessed in a million years. And then, of course, that we did a couple of sessions and it just only got better. So,
Yeah. That's one of the things I really love about this modality is that you can really see change quickly. It's like immediate
mhm.
and it goes so much quicker than any other types of therapies that I've seen. Even though those are very valuable to talk about things and to really understand where things are coming from, this is really moves the needle quickly
Absolutely.
along the way. So, my another question I have for you is: would you recommend IEMT to others, and if so, why?
Absolutely. I believe that if you have very specific circumstances, events that happen in your life, very specific triggers or emotional weight and burden that you're just trying to work through. I know, for example, we went to different areas that I wasn't necessarily planning on working through, but how my subconscious went there during the exercise and how that changed other aspects of my life for the better and for the positive. I would recommend it to anyone. I mean, anyone who's definitely just trying to work through things and who needs to stop ruminating and who needs, looking to just have some positive, forward thinking in life. Like it's perfect for anyone.
Yeah. And would you say in terms of, when you went back to certain memories or things like that that happened, did you feel that it was traumatic at all, or did you feel like, supported through that? Or tell me a little bit about your experience in revisiting some of those
Mhm.
past experiences that was different maybe than uh, doing it in other ways.
Sure. Um, yeah, I think going back to those memories I think it can be emotional for everyone. What I remember the most is how the initial start of that exercise towards an emotion or I'm sorry, the emotion to that memory, the intensity went from like a 10 to like a 4 immediately within the eye movement therapy. So, yes, I think someone can expect, hey, you're going to relive some memories. However, during that process in itself, the intensity of that memory and the emotions that you have to that, it's amazing how the shift happens like that.
Right.
It
Yeah.
was incredible.
So essentially, you might have some of that be brought up. What I hear you saying
Correct.
is that, but it moves so quickly that you don't have time to ruminate it
Mm-mm.
and recreate the story. So it's less activating to your entire nervous system.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Hmm.
So, how did you feel working with me as a practitioner? You mentioned some of the things before, but just a little bit more on what that was like.
Oh, you're so great, Sam. You're just such a light in general. And again, you have such an inviting space to begin with. And when we started and you got us into the meditative state to just be open and open your heart and open your mind, you're so good at making someone get to that place immediately within the first few minutes of starting, with your audios, with the chimes and even the hearts that you give, like you make it so welcoming in general, so that again you can be vulnerable and get the work done that your heart and soul needed to do immediately. So
That's
thank you.
beautiful. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
sharing that. I
Thanks.
loved working with you. You are amazing as well.
Thank
So,
you.
so tell me, is there anything else you'd like to share before we conclude?
I just think anyone who is looking to elevate their life in a more positive direction, this is absolutely a modality that they need to try out. Again, I didn't have this on my bingo card for 2025, but when it came across as an opportunity, I took it and I am now a big advocate of this. And I think anyone who just again wants to better themselves and put their head in a positive mind space, it's just for them.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for sharing your experience and helping others to understand about IEMT and what it can offer. And anyone that has any other questions or is interested in this modality, you can contact me through this YouTube video or any other modal or any other ways through my website at groundedvisions.com. Thanks.